This reading and these channeled messages are for Aquarius, all placements. But if you find yourself here, there's definitely a message for you. I'm Jenese. Welcome to the Visionary. So today's message is a part of the series we're doing called Full Circle. We got a series of 21 downloads, and so we're going through each download and the accompanying messages and symbols that come with each download, as well as whatever channeled messages that come through while we are recording the transmission for you guys. So you may hear some background stuff. It's because I'm outside in the woods and it's pretty windy out here, which is kind of really beautiful because it just reminds me of the Ascended Masters and of the ancestors speaking to you through the wind, through the breath. Okay, so also what's coming up is breath of fire. Everyone is going through an ego death, okay? Another layer of dismantling, unraveling the ego, and it's causing you to really confront your fears and to say, I take my power back. I no longer allow you to control my life. I no longer allow you to control my actions or even my thoughts or my emotions, and taking your power completely back. Okay, so with that, let's get into the synchronicities. So for number 7, so first of all, this particular transmission, we're going to be doing 7, 8, and 9 together, and I want you to remember that those are 3 transmissions that are being put together. Okay, so 7, what came through was worldwide UPS. So I feel like there's some kind of idea that you were about to launch internationally, or you were about to be recognized or rewarded worldwide. Okay. The wind is roaring right now, so it has me thinking of Katy Perry's song Roar, if you remember. That from one of our previous readings, right? Yes, and I'm hearing Baby You're a Firework. So still, those 2 particular songs are really helping to motivate you to stay disciplined, persevere, stay determined, and keep moving forward towards the light, okay? Yes, yes, yes. You may be tempted to turn around. You may be tempted to go back down that road and start something new that is not necessarily you following your heart, but maybe you just following curiosity, which is completely fine. But remember, all roads are going to lead you home, so they will lead you back to your heart. So even though you may go and start something new, you ultimately are going to be led home, okay, to your heart's desire. So also with the UPS, it was interesting because when it first came in, it was just like UPS, okay? So spirit trying to get a message to you, your ancestors trying to get a message to you, okay, in some way, shape, or form, maybe through my readings, or maybe through another reader, or maybe through your symbols, maybe through you taking walks in the woods and things like this, where you can just quiet your mind and really focus on being one with your heart and releasing all worries, all concerns, releasing all results, all outcomes, right? And just really being in that place of peace and harmony and open to receive, no matter what that is. Maybe it's silence, but maybe you hear a song, maybe you hear a word, maybe an image comes through, or maybe a scene starts playing for you. Okay. Yes, yes, and yes. So the other thing, so when I was just looking at it, it reminded me of ups, like when if anybody's familiar with addiction, and it can be any kind of addiction, right? You are on this incredible high, but now you know that you have to come down. So then you take some kind of downer to help you come down, to help you relax, to help you maybe fall asleep, because you can't keep going on this high for days upon days, because you're going to burn yourself out, and possibly your body will just give out, right? And you'll be in the emergency room. So it had me thinking about that. And I know in our previous readings we were talking about people overcoming addiction, some people overcoming addiction to maybe shopping or sex, but now what's coming in is someone definitely overcoming addiction to recreational drug. Okay. Yeah, and it's but you're gonna beat this, because God promised you that when you take a step forward, I take 10. So I got you. You just have to keep your faith, right? And so right now your faith is being tested, and God is saying, I need you to focus on the light, okay? Remember the lion's den. Focus on the light no matter what is going on. Turn your back to that. Do not be dismayed or discouraged on what you are seeing on the outside. Focus on the light. And that is you focusing on your goal, focusing on your wish fulfillment, you focusing on what it would feel like if all of your prayers were answered right now. What would it feel like if that thing that you really wanted was here right now? What it would feel like if you were living and leading a sober life? What would you have? What would it feel like? Okay? I'm gonna take a breath. Because we're kind of like on a hill and like walking on the hill. It's like, yeah. But we're just being guided to move to different spots as we're recording. So that's just what we're doing. Okay? Yeah. And so the other signs that came in with the worldwide UPS is Lucifer and Great Dane. So when this came in, they came in right together. I heard Lucifer, then I heard Great Dane. So I feel like there's there may be an attachment to, there's different scenarios coming in, okay? Because it's speaking about different things. So maybe you're watching the series Lucifer, okay? So maybe there's some kind of Netflix or a TV addiction, all right? Where you are allowing the things that you're seeing to program you rather than allowing your heart to do the work, okay? Yes, yes, and yes. So yeah, I just heard let's Netflix and chill. So that gets me to another thing. Some of you guys are addicted to a partner who either has they're seen as a dog. Like everyone else looks at them and they're like, they're treating you so wrong, but yet you still, that's your comfort place. So you still let them back in, you still forgive them, you still let them be up underneath of you after they just left someone, you know, this kind of energy. You basically allow them to disrespect you, and it's only because you're afraid of, it's an insecurity feeling like you won't get anything better, you know, and also a control thing, like you put so much time and effort into this person or this relationship and you're afraid to start over, you know, this kind of thing. So again, it's just coming down to fear and that attachment. But I feel like Spirit is like helping you to see that, right? Helping you to accept it. Because that's what it really is. It's like accepting it, and then also helping you. Because I just heard save face. So there's a part of you that feels like if you stay with this person, you're gonna save face, as in like you don't want the people around you to be like, I told you so, I told you so, you know, that kind of a thing. So you're still allowing other people and fears to control you. And you know, Goddess comes in and says, let all that go to the ground and release yourself from it, you know. And as soon as you do, yes, there's going to be a part for whoever this is resonating with where you're going to feel like, oh my God, I made the wrong decision, this is too tough, I'm never going to emotionally recover from this loss. And Goddess says, yes you will, yes you will. Okay, so there's also somebody here that's having some kind of let's see, you're fighting with like who's source, you know what I mean? Like who's source, what's the universe, what's Goddess, what's God, you know? And you're kind of going back and forth and you're like, how can I believe in something that has so many different names and so many people believe so many different things? Like how can I have strong faith in something that is so unseen? And then again, God comes in and he says, the only power there is love. That's all you have to believe in. Okay, so I feel like that might be a little bit of a run over into someone else's story as well, or another message that someone else needed to hear during this time, especially that this is download number 7. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of truths that are revealed in this download that may seem a little bit harsh, but Spirit says if it feels harsh to you, why? Okay. It's this energy of releasing insecurities. No one has the power to hurt me. I am immune to all hurts. And yes, what is it? I know, I can't remember off the top of my head right now. It's this energy of, and so we talk about, Wayne Dyer is definitely here. He talks about this in his book, The Power of Intention, and the power of intention. So one of the 7 ways to align to the power of intention is to release offense. Like, forgive everyone who's offended you and send them unconditional love. Florence Scovel Shinn does this too, in which she says that if you hold resentment against any man, say a man keeps choosing another woman over you, keeps putting another person first over you, right? Keeps putting you second, or keeps making you feel like you're not even an option. Instead of holding resentment against that man or that woman or that person, all you have to do is let it go. And how you let it go is you send them love and goodwill continuously. Every time that feeling of resentment comes up, every time that feeling of hatred or anger or feeling unworthy or insecure or blame or whatever it is that comes up, and you are tying it to another person, as this means that whenever you feel this, it's always when you think of this person, okay? That's how you know that that emotion is tied to that person. And you clear the energy. You purify it out, okay, with love and goodwill. Okay, so what came in next was Albert and Alvin. So it was weird because as soon as it came in, it was like, again, it came in like really quick, just like that, doom, doom, right? Albert and Alvin. At first I thought of Fat Albert, and then as soon as I couldn't even finish the thought, and I heard Alvin, and then I saw Alvin and the Chipmunks. So I feel like there's a couple things that are coming in with this. Let's catch your breath. Okay. So there's a few things because Albert Einstein is coming in again. So remember, we talked about you guys are inventors, and that there's something, again, going back to worldwide, there's something that you've been working on, that you have been perfecting, that you've been it hasn't worked, so then you go back to the drawing board and then you figure it out. But it's not really the drawing board, right? Because whatever the mistakes you did, or however you knew it didn't work, you don't include that, you change it, right? So you're never really going back to zero, are you? Yeah, so there's something in your life that you have to remember when you're creating something, that you really are not going back to zero, because you're not going to recreate the same thing that made it fail, or made it not work, or made it not produce the results that you seek, right? Right. It's like this. This is a good one, because this is something I did. A little bit similar. So it's like you going and working out, okay? You're working out, and every time after you work out, you reward yourself with something sweet, like say a piece of cake or an ice cream cone, okay? And you're working out hard. You're like, yes, I'm in the gym, I'm getting it, I'm on the trail, you're doing it every day. And then at the end of the week, you look and you haven't lost any weight. And actually, matter of fact, you gained a little, and you cannot figure out why in the world did you not lose any weight, and then how did you gain weight? So you look back on what you did. What was the consistent things that you did? Well, I went to the gym. I worked out every day. That was my consistent thing. But what else was consistent? What else did you do every single day? Oh, I had a sweet treat. Wait a minute. I had a sweet treat. I added in sugar and carbs on top of, and every single day. So whatever it was that I lost, I basically was eating it back again. So that's why I didn't lose any weight. And and on some days I had 2 pieces of cake or had 2 scoops of ice cream. So that's also why I gained weight and I didn't lose it. So you said, okay, this week, I know I can see that there's a little thing where I feel like I need a reward. So I'm going to switch up my reward. I'm going to bring a different kind of a snack that has less sugar in it, okay? And I'm going to have that snack. And then for some of you guys, it's like, well, instead of me buying this snack, I'm just going to make this snack and bring it with me, because some of you guys are going through learning how to manage your money better, okay? So this is like this energy of AA. Again, we are sobering up, okay? We are releasing the addictions, whatever they are. So you see that these addictions, it's a little bit different, right? You're not necessarily, shooting up or abusing over-the-counter medication, this kind of thing. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. If you know, that kind of energy, right? And it's like, again, being very honest with yourself about how you're sabotaging your own efforts out of fear, out of complacency, okay, that kind of thing, or even out of childhood wounds where you never got a reward, so now you reward yourself all the time, and now you just expect that reward, but now it's time to change the reward, because the reward that you're giving yourself is actually not helping you to elevate. It's either keeping you the same, or it's lowering your vibration, okay? Yeah, so it's like one day you're going to change the exercise plan again, and you're going to say, I'm going to refuel with protein, with nuts. I'm going to refuel with, with a fruit smoothie. I'm going to refuel with a banana. That's going to be my reward, is that banana. And you know what? I'm just going to slice up some bananas, and then I'm going to put a cherry on top. That's going to be my sundae, rather than actually rewarding myself with a sundae. And then maybe on the 7th day, I'll actually go and have that cake, or have that cheesecake, or have that sundae. But I'm not going to do it every day, because I know that that's something that didn't add to the elevation of me getting to my goal, right? Yes. So again, it's also looking at things from perspective of not being so hard on yourself, okay? To where you're like, oh, you're always fucking up. You're always doing something to mess it up. You know what I mean? It's not looking at it like that. It's like, no, how can we tweak this to make it better? And then maybe the next week we tweak something else, until you find your sweet spot, until you find that thing that's really working for you, and now you got it, and you're just consistent, and you're repetitive, right? So you're like, I got my plan. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is my plan. I'm doing it. I got my plan. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm doing it. And you just keep doing it. And then you keep seeing things rise. And that's when you see it pop open. All of a sudden, you go viral. Yeah. Right? All of a sudden, the store that you created is starting to sell. All of a sudden, you get that book deal. All of a sudden, people are downloading your files. All of a sudden, you're getting orders on your Etsy page. All of a sudden, you're getting invited to speak here. All of a sudden, you got that job offer. All of a sudden, you get a promotion. You know what I mean? We have to breathe again. Because again, it says we're walking. And now there's this spot where we're about to walk up a little bit more of a hill. And some of you are like, well, why aren't you recording like where you're walking and stuff? Well, I'm looking at my notes on my phone. So, okay. Yeah. So here we go. So, also remember that I just saw daddy long leg. Okay, I see 2 of them. Oh, something unexpected. You're manifesting something unexpected that's going to put you right on path. I just saw another one. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm seeing so many daddy long legs. This is beautiful. You guys, you're manifesting money in abundance. That's for sure, because now I just saw 3 daddy long legs. That's 888s. Okay? And I'm not even going to keep going, because now I'm seeing 2 more. So you are definitely manifesting abundance, okay? And I feel security along with that, and a new contract of some kind. Yes. Welcome to your new beginning. Yes. And this is a new beginning in consciousness too. So this other thing is, remember that exercising speeds up your manifestations. Okay? I got to the top of the hill, guys. Whew. Whew. Yeah. Yes. Just taking a break for a second. So, also remember that Alvin and Albert, they're both leaders as well. Okay? So I feel like your intuition is leading you on the path to be a leader. Okay? In some way, shape, or form. And so that might be the next thing that you're going to be asked to do, is to take on a leadership role. To take on higher responsibility. I just seen the most beautiful butterfly. It was red and black and it had white dots on it. And actually came to the ground, so I also feel that it's this energy of you going up, because it's what's coming in is like the plane, is in the sky taking you up. You're clearing that plane, that 747. You're clearing it from all the karma, all the emotions, all the negative influences, everything that doesn't serve you, all the ideas and beliefs that hold you back. And as you are rising, your frequency is rising. But now you have to bring whatever it was that you gained while you're going through this clearing process, while you're raising your vibration. You have to ground it down here in reality so that you can, one, share it with others, but also, two, there's harvest that's coming in for you, that abundance. So that's the energy of grounding and bringing yourself down, keeping connected to source, and then bringing yourself down to ground into Mother Earth, so that way you can start to receive the material abundance as well, you know, as the spiritual ascension and expansion. Yeah. Yes, breakthrough. I just broke a stick. Okay. So beautiful. So now we get to 1010. So that's interesting. There we go. There's a completion. There's a portal, you know, walking through. The new moon is about to come soon. I believe it's in Cancer, but double check that. And then there's also something that came up for someone, and it's about somebody in your family arranging a date for you, okay? And they're doing this because they pity you, or they feel like, you know, maybe you haven't had a partner yet, or you haven't got married yet, and the age, you know, maybe you're like in your 40s, I don't know, something like this, or 50s, you know, and you haven't been married yet, or you don't have a partner, and they're just like trying to, they're not doing it out of unconditional love, right? They're seeing you as a victim rather than like a thriver, you know what I mean? Rather than as like independent and this kind of a thing. So Spirit says you're going to go on the date and it's not going to work out. But the reason why it's not going to work out, it's not because you're unworthy of a partner or anything like that. The reason why it's not going to work out is because this is meant to build you. Okay, so quite possibly this has already happened. All right, and so if this resonates with you, you're coming here to hear why it happened. That was just meant to build you mentally and emotionally, to prepare you to be in a partnership. Because the thing is a lot of times when people are single for a long time, or they don't get married and things like this, it's only because they're on a self-love journey, okay? And you have to be able to find that love within yourself, release insecurities, release the feeling of unworthiness, I'm not enough, right? Before you really can trust another partner and trust the intimacy, right? And Spirit says also is that he doesn't want you to hide behind a mask, you know, when this great love comes in. He wants you to be completely who you are and to be strong in that. And so that's why many of us go through these relationships, karmic relationships and instances and things like this. It's only so that our soul can grow and expand from it. Okay? Yeah. I started to look and the path wasn't the path anymore. And I was like, it looks so different. You know, so this is also something coming in. When I was driving here, I saw a truck. It said Kodak. And I was like, whoa, right? And as soon as I saw Kodak, guess what I saw? The freaking Red Bull truck, okay? So, referencing back to our previous download with the Sonic and Red Bull, all right? This energy, that you're about to get this energy and you're about to go fast in something, all right? Because the shift, whatever this shift is, I feel like it's coming really quickly, okay? And as soon as it kind of like flips for you, your life is not going to be the same. You're not going to recognize it. It's almost like, because one, you're going to be looking through the eyes of God. And when you look through the eyes of God, through the eyes of Source, okay, through the eyes of the universe, you see everything as a miracle, everything as a blessing. And things just magically shift because you're in such a high vibration, you know, and it takes no time for manifestations to come in because you're in the energy of abundance and the energy of gratitude. You're in that childlike mind. You're in that open heart, you know. You're not fearing anything, and you're also not limiting yourself. You're seeing yourself as unstoppable. Yes, you are the shooting star. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. Yeah. Oh, and then this is interesting. I wrote down See you later, okay? So maybe within that thing that didn't work out, it might be something that comes back around to you later on. Okay? Yes, yes, and yes. So, yeah, I was checking the time. We're at the 24. But Spirit says keep going. So, we're on download number 8. So, I'm getting these downloads are coming in, and they're coming in so fast I have to write them down, otherwise I won't remember. And the order is pretty important of how they go in. And I remember, this is interesting, because I remember we're actually coming from Sonic, my daughter. I was getting her something, and we're waiting. There was like 4 cars in front of us, and then in front of them there was like a line of cars too. And so I decided to take my notes out and start putting some of these downloads down, because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do it. We're about to start driving. I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to pay attention. You know what I mean? I can't be like driving and be on my phone. So, and right at this moment we're parked, like just waiting. And I heard somebody yell, and I like looked up, but I didn't pay attention to it because I was like in zone. And then afterwards, after I kind of came out of the state that I was in, you know, because like when you start to drive, you can't really be like in that like alpha state anymore. You gotta yeah, yeah, you gotta be more alert. Yeah. So I realized that she had yelled out, "Get off your phone," you know, and as soon as I realized that she said that, my heart just went like, I just went up to 100. Like, the old me would have got out of my car, I would have drove over to her, first of all, so I would have got out of the line. I would have drove over to her, I would have got out of my car, and I would have like, what did you say? Okay? Like, seriously. Can you say anger management? All right? So I've come a long way, because I was like, whatever. So immediately I said, I am immune to all hurts and frustrations. So there goes the affirmation, guys. I am immune to all hurts and frustrations, because I was like, I'm not about to give you my power, especially because I don't know what triggered you to yell out your window. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what about you seeing me on my phone was harmful to you, or you felt harmed, or you felt attacked, or what triggered you emotionally or mentally to do that. You could have went through some horrific thing, like, you know, maybe somebody was texting on their phone and they hit your mother and they killed her. You know what I mean? Not to be that graphic, but it is possible, okay, of these things. And so I feel like what Spirit is saying right here is, do not allow anyone to change your mood, because now they have changed the direction of your manifestations. All right, because what you believe, what you think, what you see, and how you feel about what it is that you're manifesting, okay, all those things work together. So if you get angry or mad, like all of a sudden you just put in some low vibrational energy, and now your manifestation is going to be delayed, right? So this is also a test to see, are you secure enough in yourself to brush that off? You know, because there may be some other kinds of tests that come on your path where you have to just brush it off. Somebody doesn't believe in your product. Somebody doesn't believe that you can make it. Somebody doesn't like your singing. Somebody doesn't like your book. Somebody doesn't like your videos. You know what I mean? Like, there's gonna be some kind of something to try to get you off your path. And Spirit says, I'm building your strength. I'm showing you what it takes to live this life. This is what you asked for, so I need to make sure that no one can control your actions, that you are always in your heart space, right? You know, and you're able to see things from different perspectives, because that's what, you know, seeing through the eyes of God is. It's being able to see people, see past the surface, you know what I mean, and see right into their heart, and be willing to forgive them. You know, even if I don't know her story or the reason or whatever, in the moment it's like, all is forgiven, I forgive you, you know. So even when something like this happens, and it might trigger you, recognize that it triggered you. Release the insecurity, okay? Release the insecurity and repeat the affirmation, I'm immune to all hurts and frustrations. And then send that person love and goodwill, forgiveness. all right, and call it a day. Like, don't let anybody take your power, your energy, not any of that. Because this is like living high vibrational means that you are not going to be sitting around being angry, frustrated, hurt, sad, feeling unworthy, holding resentment, angry, none of that, okay? All of those feelings, they're valid. Yes, they are. But if you want to live your happiest life and you want to manifest easily and effortlessly, you gotta learn how to neutralize those feelings, release them, and forgive, okay? And I always, sometimes too, I'll be like, I forgive myself too, because there might have been something, you know, maybe I was just in the wrong as well too, you know, so I'm not going to be holding any guilt or shame against myself because I was like, oh shoot, you know, I shouldn't have been on my phone, but I actually wasn't driving, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm doing any of my old stuff I used to do. You guys know who has a coffee maker in their car. No, I'm just kidding. There's probably somebody out there, I swear, that has a coffee maker in their car and is like making coffee as they're driving. But I'm sure, you know what I mean? And it's like no judgment. So that's the other thing too, is I'm not going to judge you. I don't expect you to judge me. And if I feel like I'm being judged, I'm going to release the judgment that I might be carrying for someone else, okay? And I'm going to forgive myself and I'm going to move on. Yeah. And I'm going to forgive you too. And let it go. Let it go. We're not holding on to any of this hurt or this offense, you know. Again, you know, the power of intention. Don't let anybody offend you. Let it go. Forgive them. Because it's only blocking your manifestations. Okay? Yeah. So, now we get into number 9. This one is, it's all about forgiveness. I just heard, that's all, folks. You know? Because that's really what it is. Now I'm going to sit for a sec. It's about forgiveness. So, this one came through, and it was Aztec, Azul. So it's this energy of the Aztecs and them being known for being very fierce and unforgiving, right? And as I was walking into my apartment, and it was, I don't even know, it was like the most miraculous thing ever. My head just bowed. And I just started to speak, all is forgiven, all is forgotten, all is forgiven. And the energy was so like profound that I just cleared. Like I just literally, everything that I was holding, it just cleared, and I was in this place of just perfect peace, you know? And I was like, wow. And I looked and it was 11:11, and it was like, holy shoot. And then I remembered that right before my daughter was saying it's almost 11:11 and don't forget to make your wish. And I was like, wow. So it was so perfect. And it was that energy of when you keep asking, what is that thing that's blocking me? What is that thing that's holding me back? What is that thing? And it kind of just comes in without you even knowing it. And it really is forgiveness. Forgiving yourself, forgiving everyone involved, you know, forgiving humanity. Yeah, because, you know, some of us might be holding stuff against like political parties or groups of people, you know, and I don't mean like as in like racism. I'm talking about like, I mean, it could be that, but it also could be like, you know, people who are hurting children, people who are not doing right by their community and they're living in poverty, you know what I mean? Like these kinds of things. And God says, who are you to judge? Who are you to judge? So let's forgive them, because they have their own judgment day. Like every one of us has to stand there and has to empty our heart out and has to balance that heart. And if it comes out that we have not forgiven, we have not let it out, it's not going to be those people that we were holding unforgiveness for. They're not the ones that are going to fall. It's going to be us. It's going to be you. It's going to be me. So we have to forgive, you know, for ourselves. And then it's this energy of again, understanding that everyone that you see, right, is made of God in some way, shape, or form. Yes, we come with differences in, cultures and beliefs and programs and nature versus nurture, all of these things, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, we're all created from love, and so God wants to remind you of that. And so the story that came in the last download that was for number 9 is Nona. It came in this morning, and I heard the word Nona. I was in meditation, and I was just like, okay, what is my next action? What do you want to tell me? And I heard Nona, and I was like, Nona, okay, what does that mean? So I looked it up, and it can mean field, but it also is representative of the 9th child. And I was like, okay. And I was like, isn't that interesting? So I knew that this particular download that was coming in was for number 9 in this full circle moment, right? And so I was like, okay, so then that means we have to do 7, 8, and 9. Interesting. 3. And I was like, 3, receiving, manifesting, receiving. So there is a big something that is about to be cleared, and it's going to really open up the floodgates to you being able to create your heaven on earth. Okay? And I do feel it has to do with forgiveness, right? Yes. And so I also saw that Nona was also known as Jonah. Okay? And when I was in the bathroom, Spirit kept having me look up at the whale. And I was like looking at the whale. I was like, why you keep having me look at this whale? I keep looking at the whale. And so when this came in, I realized that the reason why Spirit had me kept looking at the whale is so that when this download came in, I would know that I needed to go into the story of Jonah in the whale. Okay? So in the Bible, it actually says that Jonah got swallowed by a big fish, right? So this big fish, and when I think of fish, I just think of spirituality, right? But when we think of the whale, we also think of wisdom, and so how the story goes, and I'm going to paraphrase it, all right? So it's not word for word or anything like that. It is Jonah. God wanted Jonah, the prophet, to go and speak to a certain country, and they were called Nevaeh. All right, so which is interesting because the number 9 is actually in the name of this town or what have you, or this province. Okay, and Jonah didn't want to go speak to them because they were doing all kinds of wrong, and Jonah was like, I'm not going to go speak to them. So he decided to travel in the opposite direction of where God told him to go. And so he went on the ship, and there started to be the storm, and the people on the ship were like, why is this storm? So they went and they pulled lots. So they pulled these sticks, and whoever got, I believe it was like the longest or the shortest one, whichever, okay, was the reason. And so they did this, and they realized that the reason why the storm was happening is because of Jonah. God was angry at Jonah. So Jonah said, you know what, just throw me overboard, and you won't have to worry about me. I'm sure, and the storm will stop, and you guys will be safe, and it will be calm. Just throw me overboard. So they did, and God had a whale swallow Jonah, right? So now Jonah is in the whale's mouth for 3 days and 3 nights. And what ended up happening is God told the whale to vomit Jonah out. And during that time, the 3 days, 3 nights, Jonah repented. He asked for forgiveness, and he said he was sorry for not following the righteous path, for not going to the place to speak where God sent him, and blah, 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 right? So now he comes out of the mouth because he repented. He asked for forgiveness, and he comes out of the mouth. And now he goes into the direction of this, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but this Nevaeh, okay? And so that he could go and prophesy to them. And he tells them in this city that in 40 days, if they don't change their ways, that their whole city is going to be overthrown. God is basically going to destroy everyone in the city, okay? And so what happened next? So what happened next was a surprise to Jonah. He didn't know that these townspeople were going to change their ways. And the king actually did a proclamation. And he said that everyone was to fast. They were to wear sackcloths. They were to pray. And they were to repent. Okay? And so Jonah saw everyone in this city basically repenting, like en masse. Okay? And he got upset. He got upset that they were doing this and that God was going to show them mercy because of all of the things that they were doing. And so he was basically judging them, and he decided, I'm going to go back where I went before. And so he headed back in the wrong direction again. And he ended up on this island, and God said, okay, you're going to be in the sun. I'm going to put a plant there, and I'm going to give you shade. Okay? And the plant gave him shade, but then God put a worm there and killed the plant. And now the plant wasn't there, and it was so hot. And Jonas was angry again. He was so angry. He was like, just kill me here. Just kill me here, right? And God was like, how are you angry? Why are you angry? You feel you have the right to be angry? And he's like, yeah. And then God was like, why? You didn't plant that plant. You didn't kill it. The plant came up in the middle of the night and it left in the middle of the night. So why would you hold any anger against it? And so Jonas realized that he really needed to forgive, right? And then he understood that God's mercy is God's mercy. And although, people may have done bad things in the past or what have you, once they ask for forgiveness, he's going to forgive, right? So it's that energy of, one, releasing judgment of others, and then you release judgment of yourself. If you go to the Our Father's Prayer, right? It's like, if you're judging someone else, then you too shall be judged. But all you have to do is release judgment upon other people, and let it go. Really let it go. Especially, I find, they have these shows and they show people doing these horrible things, and then you get resentment over this person that did this horrible thing, and you don't even realize that you're holding resentment over something that is just a fictional character, and then some of you might be holding resentment over non-fictional characters, right? For what they may have done to, African Americans or, Jewish people or the Native Americans. I shouldn't really say Native Americans, but, to Indians and things like this. So it's this energy of really allowing yourself to let go. Let that resentment go. Let that anger go. And then focus on you. And what do you need to be forgiven for? What are you holding against yourself that needs to be released, let go? What guilt are you holding? What shame are you holding? What blame are you holding on your own self? You know what I mean? So it's like, stop carrying the burdens of everyone else. Stop carrying the burdens of a nation. Stop carrying the burdens of your ancestors. Stop carrying the burdens of generations. Stop carrying the burdens of the world, right? Let God handle that. Because believe me, everyone has their judgment day. They have their judgment moment. And there's nothing you can do or say about it that's going to change anything, okay? Understand it. Understand it. It's this thing of law. The law is the law, right? So God says, get your hand out of someone else's cookie jar and focus on your own. Just to say it kind of plainly. I mean, we could have just said that in the beginning, but I guess the story of Jonah and the whale is significant, and it may be significant to you, just growing up and maybe how you grew up, or the stories that you heard, if you grew up religious or that kind of a thing, or maybe you didn't, but you just heard, or that kind of thing. So yeah, that was pretty, I know this was really long. It was a lot, but that's what I was called to share with you guys for download 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and also, so I'm being taken to Jonah 4, 9 through 11. Okay, and this is it says, you have been concerned about this vine, though you did not tend to it nor make it grow. It sprung up overnight and died overnight. But Nevaeh has more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left hand, and many cattle as well. Should I not be concerned about that great city? So again, it's like within our own right, we are the creator, but we have to keep our eye on our own manifestations, on the things we are creating in our own life. And if you are so stuck on looking at what other people are creating in their life, then you're not tending to your own home, right? You're not tending to your own, and you would cause yourself to hold on to resentment and anger for no reason. You know what I mean? And I don't want to pacify it or make it seem like it doesn't mean anything, because your feelings are valid, right? But at the end of the day, are you where you want to be? And I think that's it, guys. So thank you so very much for listening, and I'm honored to share this stuff with you, and I hope that it did hit for you in some way, shape, or form. And if it did, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're feeling called to, go ahead and hit subscribe. Definitely leave comments. I love reading your comments. Also, if you guys want to put where you're from, in the world, that'd be awesome too. Yeah, and just thank you so very much. All right, y'all. Yes. Namaste.